We will get started in about 5 minutes. Just making sure that the live stream is up. Not really sure what's going on with that. It says it's streaming. Okay. Yeah, we are live. Let that cook. Okay. Hey folks, we got the Q&A going on for our artist residency for formerly incarcerated folks. As you are joining, feel free to drop questions in the chat. We are also on Zoom and live on Facebook, so if you're on Instagram, I'll try to catch questions as they're coming. And unfortunately, you won't be able to see screen share via Instagram, but you will be able to watch the recording live back later. And as we wait for people to trickle in, let's see if we can't get a little music going, something.
It's one time. Before the light, and now you're by your side. I come to take you there, show you what I care. Just be aware, you want to share. I want you, I want you night. I'm in your heart, so night. I'll be your answer. I'll be your answer. I'll be your answer.
Go ahead and get started with that.
I and I hate fight, or it's like alright. You're on my paper again. Although it's not a sin, I'll show you how to win. And when I've been, I won't do low. I work the night. I'm in your heart. The long night. I'll be your answer. I'll be your answer. I'll be your answer. I'll be your answer. I'm gonna put it around me. Wanna put it so you know I love you around me. Wanna put it so you know
Right. Well, it is 6:35. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the folks who are here. Um, we I got flagged because I was using copyrighted music for too long. So go ahead and get started. All right. Just want to make sure this is we're live on Facebook as well. Okay. Welcome, folks. I know there's some folks on Instagram Live, some folks on Facebook Live, and we're on Zoom. I'm going to briefly walk through our FAQ for the artist residency. I'll screen share on Zoom. That'll be recorded so you can watch it back if you'd like. The FAQ are also found in our homepage, but then we'll open it up for questions, and anybody who has them will just popcorn around, and we should be able to get out of here by 7:30. We might get out of here earlier if we don't have too many questions, so we'll find out. All right, let me start by if you'll forgive me. Okay. So, in our FAQ, we'll start by talking a little bit about the artist residency. So, as many of you may know, the artist residency started in 2020, and we have been asking artists the question, what does a world look like without policing and incarceration to you? Can you pitch a project that is going to show us that world and engage the community in thinking around these questions of abolition? And you, of course, do not have to be an abolitionist to apply for the residency, but essentially the premise of why we're asking. And in 2020, the residency was open specifically to Detroit artists or folks who were in Wayne County. We were able to, through a grant, open it up so we will now have two artists in residence per year. And this round is specifically for formerly incarcerated artists in the state of Michigan. So, statewide, if you were formerly incarcerated, please apply. If you know folks who are formerly incarcerated artists, please send this to them. We want to make sure that our reach is far and wide. So, what are the qualifications? What do you need to be an artist who can apply? So, just reside in the state of Michigan, any county, including the UP, be 18 or older, be able to participate in virtual or in person meetings with DJC, and you can work in any artistic medium. You don't need a college degree. We're not looking for how long you've been an artist. Uh, you don't have to have an exhibition history, an arts resume. Don't get caught up in, am I enough of an artist to be this artist? You are guaranteed. It's just about really, yes, we want to see the work that you're doing because we want to have a sense of, okay, so does this person have experience? You want to paint a mural? Have you painted a mural before? You want to make an album? Do you have musical experience? We want to know that, but we're primarily looking at, how did you answer the questions, and what project are you interested in building? And is that something that's going to be feasible to execute in the span of a year? Um, Again, you may look at the question and think, oh, like, I may be like 50-50. I'm on the fence with this abolition stuff. I don't know about defund, whatever. Or maybe you don't believe in it at all, but you do believe in the hope and possibility that a world without policing and incarceration could be better for all of us. That's really all you need. You don't have to use that language. You don't have to identify as an abolitionist. You do not need to be a card carrying member of any organization. You just need ideas and your art, and you should be able to you should be able to apply with no problem. Sorry, I'm just double checking that there are not people in the waiting room. Okay. What kind of art can you submit? Any kind. If you we run into issues with Lightroom, you shouldn't ideally, but if there's something like a film that you've worked on or music or something that is a there needs to be an external link, you can make a document file with that hyperlink. We will go to it. So if it's being housed somewhere else, like say Vimeo, YouTube, etc., uh, just make sure that we have access to the link and we should be able to access what you're working on. I will say this, something about the work sample that you should know: our judges are only going to have so much time to look at every application. So if you are somebody who you've written books, for instance, and your books are hundreds of pages long, don't make the mistake of sending the hyperlink to the whole book, because the problem is the judges are only going to look at maybe the first 10, 15 pages. They're only going to have so much time to sit with your work individually. They're not going to be able to read for the whole context. So you want to dig out whatever you think is the best piece of a longer form. If you're going to if you're going to send an excerpt or a part of your work, if it is a clip of a movie, if it is a short bit of music in a longer form piece, you want to make sure it's the part you wouldn't want anybody to miss. If you were handed it to your best friend to read, you're sitting there with bated breath waiting for them to react to it. So that's a big thing about work sample. Just make sure if you're excerpting it, it is the part that you are proudest of. And if you need help trimming things down, please feel free to shoot us any questions you have at media@detroitjustice.org. So if after this Q&A you think 2 days from now, oh, I should have asked this question, please do still ask the question. All right. You can submit written proposals, audio recordings, video explanations, the low resolution images, just as long as we can access the work in some way. We just want to be able to see it. Do I need to have a complete project idea before applying? Not really. Like, you don't have to have a budget laid out, or like a you don't have to necessarily have a fully formed project to just hand to us. You're answering questions that get to the proposal. So you'll see in the application form how we set it up. We'll ask different questions about, like, who are you looking to engage with your work? How long do you think you might need? Like, these are the questions we're looking at, and we should, from the questions we've asked, think we would be able to figure out the feasibility of your project from there. Um, the main question you want to answer: what does a world without policing and incarceration look like? That is the biggest thing. You want to answer that in your voice, with your experience, and something. Don't. The most important thing there to me is, don't write answers that you think we want to hear. Don't pitch ideas that you think somebody else is going to pitch what you know, pitch what you want to do, because it's going to live with you for a year if you get selected. So the biggest, most important part is to answer that question honestly and from your heart, like from your lived experience, and not tailoring it to what you think somebody else might want to hear. Are people currently on parole or probation allowed to apply? Yes, as long as your supervision conditions allow you to participate in residency activities, which we should. But if you're unsure, you please reach out privately and we can have that discussion. Can I apply if I don't have stable housing or transportation right now? Absolutely. Um, we should be able to help with transportation around the actual project. I don't want to promise I don't want to over promise what that'll look like, but we do have some there is some leeway for that. Like that was built into the budget, particularly because we're opening it statewide. We know that people who might be in other parts of the state might not have the easiest time getting to Detroit, particularly for the presentation. Um, but please do still apply. Is the application accessible for people with limited internet or tech experience? Yes, we designed it that way. Um, we we're specifically thinking if you need to apply from a phone, can you do that easily? And you should be able to with the program that we use. If you're having any kind of tech trouble, shoot me an email. If you are like, and if you shoot me an email that says, "Hey, I actually am terrible at email and I hate the internet. Can we set up a call?" More than happy to do that as well. Um, let's see. You should also be able to, again, if you are the kind of tech savvy person who, let's say you've got a social media account and you want to respond to questions not in a written form but in a video format, if you can get us the link and say, like, here's the link to the Instagram video of me replying to this question, and put that in the application, cool, that's fine. We just need to hear your answers in some form. So if you want to do that visually, if you want to do that written, both should be an option. And again, I know not everybody is familiar with Slideroom. Happy to walk people through it. Um, I didn't want to do that today because I felt like that might not be the best use of our time together. But I know Slideroom is a new application for folks, a lot of folks applying. So just let us know if you've got trouble. And Slideroom is also really good about their customer service team about helping folks with their applications. Okay. Can you get help with your application? Yes. Uh, what's why we're doing this Q&A. There are also virtual office hours. So if you were, it seems silly because if you're here, you're here. But if you it couldn't make it today, we'll have office hours Mondays from 6 to 7, and Wednesdays from 12 to 1 in the afternoon. Tried to make it like one for after 9 to 5 work hours and one for lunch hours. So open office hours, but then also if you can't make those times, email media@detroitjustice.org. We can also do phone calls. There are guidance videos up on the website on the artist residency page, as well as our YouTube, and this FAQ guide, which is available also at detroitjustice.org. Um, okay. So, how many artists will be selected from this particular round of applications? One, and then we will also have another artist selected in the summer who will replace our current artist in residence, Janine Yassine. Let's see. Do residents have to produce a final artwork? Yes. I mean, we're expecting either a body of work, a singular project, a public engagement experience, but the way that that takes shape is up to you. Um, and you are, if you're like, get to a year from now and it's like, I have these drafts of essays. Cool. You can keep working on them. But like, whatever state they're in, we will present them at a certain point and they will live in that stage, but you can do whatever you want with the materials once you are outside of the residency as well. Okay, so I'm looking at how are applications reviewed. A panel of 3 to 5 artists and justice impacted leaders, including formerly incarcerated people, will score each application using a plain language rubric. We're looking for clarity of your vision, connection to the question, thoughtfulness of your response, feasibility within the timeline, your creative voice and imagination. The rubric is essentially what's the project? How will it connect with a community or communities? Can you execute it? And how innovative is it? Like, is it something that we've seen before, or is it something completely new that we've never seen? Okay. Your application and personal information will be kept private. I've never, okay, for folks who've never applied to a residence before, this absolutely is for you. It is fairly low stakes in the sense that, you know, um, we're not asking for a ton of your time. We're not asking for um a like written evaluation of your work. There's certain things that like other residencies might look for that we are really focused on helping you get to the place where you can execute this project. I as the person who oversees the residency, I tend to meet with artists on a monthly basis, just checking in. And whether or not you've made progress over the course of the month doesn't really matter. It's just to make sure we're touching base and saying like, "Hey, how's it going? Do you need help with anything? How can we use our resources at DJC to be of service to you in your project?" Um, okay. When are applications due? They're okay. Facebook Live isn't working. Dang. Okay. Sorry, that I get distracted. Applications close February 15th. So they opened January 2nd. They will close midnight February 15th on Sunday. You will, if you've, I will say, here's a neat little trick. If you have already started your application before the 15th and you get to midnight on the 15th and you haven't hit submit yet, it will give you, I think, an extra day or two to submit. Okay. So that is it for the Q and the FAQ. And I'm going to see if I can troubleshoot Facebook for a second. And while I do that, please, if you've got questions, please drop them in the chat. And I will try to answer them as they come in. I don't know. I don't know if the Zoom link is broken, but yes, this is being live recorded. We it seem to be having difficulties, at least with the Facebook Live, and I haven't, no one's come into the Zoom link for whatever reason. So yes, it's being recorded. Yes, it'll be live, and I think we'll probably do another one of these in a week or so. Okay. Okay. For sure. Folks, if you got questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I am going to. Huh. Yeah, Facebook link's not working for whatever reason. Huh. All right. Well, we'll try again on Facebook later. Being as I'm not seeing any questions, I'll cut the recording here so that we don't run over live for too long. And we will plan to do another Q&A. I think let's plan for February 4th. We'll look forward to it then. Oh, is it okay if I use an imaginary world that I've used before in another project still used currently? Absolutely. Absolutely. If this already like falls into work that you've been making, for sure. Okay. All right. Well, seeing no other questions, I'm going to end the recording here and we'll check back in a couple weeks. All right. Thanks y'all to everyone who joined and stay warm, stay safe.